Welcome back to another episode of Down Under the Crossbar podcast, Arsenal from an Aussie angle mainly. Today, obviously, we're talking Ange Postecoglou. I'm Brendan Bradford, joined as always by the legendary Steve Peios. Mate, we've just had news confirmed a matter of maybe 45 minutes ago. Ange to Nottingham Forest. Your top line thoughts. How's this going to play out? What's the last sort of couple of weeks, couple of months been like? Huge news for Ange. Give me your thoughts.
First of all, BB, high praise, mate. Welcome back to the show for another week. We're still going. We're still enjoying
We're
ourselves
kicking, mate.
down under the crossbar podcast, mate. You are the real legend putting together this show, the great man from the Daily Telegraph and Code Sports. Look, great move, I think, BB. I was having a laugh with another football correspondent friend of mine, Brock Ellis, that we talked to a lot, not even an hour ago. Ange has
Another
my full
legendary.
support. Another legendary football man. Ange has my full support, BB, my full support. However, there's just that lingering problem that he's gone and, broken up with you for a small period and gone and kissed a bloke that you didn't really like for a while. And then now he's come back again. And it's just like, oh, Edge, how could you do it? Why don't you just go to Forest in the first place or pick any Premier League appointment? You would have been my second favourite manager behind my second favourite club forever. So, it's a tough one, BB. Look, I'm really happy for him. I'm really happy for Australian football. I think the fact that he's bounced back into a massive role so quickly is absolutely huge for him. It did feel like it was coming, BB, to be honest. We saw,
Yeah,
Postecoglou speaking Greek with Marinakis a couple of weeks. Oh, it's probably a couple of months ago now, actually. It was soon after the season, last season ended, and he won that Europa League pot with Tottenham Hotspur. He was seen at one of those. I'm not sure if it was the Globe Football Awards, but there's a few, subsidiary football awards now on top of the best, on top of the Ballon d'Or. And Postecoglou was there winning an award, and it did really look like the relationship was quite strong with Marinakis. You and I were hot on this a few weeks ago when we said Nuno's favourite to get sacked here. The comments that he made soon after the round two game was either just before or just after their match day two game indicated that he's probably on the way. So I didn't think it'd be Postecoglou though, to be honest, baby. I thought maybe Jose Mourinho might be the one to come in,
yeah.
but I think the idea is to continue to play good football. I didn't think Forest played bad stuff under Nuno, but it just seemed like the breakdown of coach was just too big. And Postecoglou will bring flair. He's got a squad there. He's got players who'll have no expectations for half a season. And it's not a bad little squad they've got there in Nottingham Forest. So I think he'll go well, mate. I like the move. I think it's great to have him back in the Premier League. And I think I'm not going to say he's going to be a success straight away. I think Forest will be panicking if they end up in 16th like Tottenham last year. But hey, they haven't won a trophy for a long time, and this is a famous club, a former European Cup winning club 2 times. Back in 79-80, Brian Clough, it's a very famous club. So I think for him, it's a great appointment. He'll be stoked there, and I think he'll get a little bit more freedom and less scrutiny from his Greek brother, from his Agapi there, from his Levendi owner in Marinakis. Mate, tell us what you think, because I think it's a great move for Ange.
Yeah, great move for Ange, and it's one of those clubs like you mentioned that so much history, so much pride and passion. Although struggled recently and recent, for the last sort of few decades now, but so much history, like a foundation sort of club, like one of the pillars, one of the strongholds historically. And I think Ange is going to really buy into that. He loves that stuff. He was same thing at Celtic, same thing at Tottenham. He's going to really buy into that, the history, the culture, the background behind this club, and I'm really interested and excited to see that aspect of it as well. Just because, yeah, just knowing Ange is going to dive into all that, all the mythos and all the stories behind the whole thing. Um,
Plenty of
and
mythos.
And on that as well, I think, Mariner, they've gone through, he's gone through coaches at Olympiacos and at Forest.
Mhm.
I think Ange will have a little bit more leeway maybe than, some of the other coaches that have come and gone in a matter of months in some cases, which hopefully, sort of sees him stay a little bit longer term. Again, I thought Nuno would stay a little bit longer, maybe into October, but it's not as if, 3 games into the season. This started at the end of last season. They
Yeah.
were pushing for
Yeah.
Champions League. It didn't quite work out. It's been building for a couple of months. And then obviously just sort of reading over the last couple of days, Edu going to Forest as well from Arsenal. Apparently there's been a breakdown. There was a breakdown between those two. So, the writing was on the wall late last season and just got, just sort of snowballed. And I just suppose, yeah, the timing of it, 3 games into the season, kind of crazy, but it's not really 3 games. It's been a few months now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know we mentioned it. Yeah, you mentioned Nuno probably first to go. I think I asked you about 2-3 weeks ago on the podcast. Were you expecting it to happen over this sort of break? You know, they're coming off a heavy loss to West Ham, who are not going great as well, but they're a win, loss, and a draw. Were you expecting it to happen now? Is that what you were hearing?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was. I actually thought, BB, to be honest, that it took a few weeks longer than what we thought. After that sort of breakdown, it felt like Nuno must have. It's almost like he'd opened up a bad letter in the mail, BB. You know, just like you just get that text that your heart sinks. It's like he'd got something like that when he did that press conference pre-match day 2. Now they had a great win to start the season at home, and then they've drawn their second game. But like you said, that performance against West Ham. I mean, I didn't see the full game, but I read that the performance wasn't fantastic. And then they conceded sort of 3 goals in the last 6 minutes of the match, basically, to lose it. So to me, I was surprised that it went that long. It just felt like the way that Nuno spoke and the way that the media blew it up, it just felt like it was the writing was on the wall. But maybe, and this is me having had some thought about it now, is that the reason he didn't go straight away is that they were too busy lining up a new coach in the background. So it was a case of, right, is Ange available? Does he want it to? Is Jose available? Well, hang on, he might be getting sacked. Hang on, he's getting sacked, which happened, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago after Fenerbahce didn't qualify for the Champions League. So it makes sense in that respect to be like, all right, let's just keep the status quo going until we're certain on who's going to do the replacing. And you saw it's happened very quickly, BB. I mean, basically, it was a quick domino effect. The statement was released at 12:15 a.m. English time, which was about 9:15 this morning. I basically turned the headlines on as I do every day, and I was like, oh, Nuno's gone first thing in the morning. And then from there, we're seeing tonight, and the time over there in England, sort of 11:36, right? So we haven't even everyone's had a full sleep and woken up for effectively 2-3 hours of the day in England, and we've got a new manager there. So I dare say that was the reason why. You make some great points about 3 games into the season, but I feel like if it was going to happen, get it done ASAP. Just cut the cord, get him in there. I'm not sure. It says he's going to oversee them on the weekend. I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, he might take training today, which what are we now? We're sort of Tuesday night. So Tuesday he might take the boys, but there'll be a lot of them that are out on international duty. We saw Elliot Anderson debut for England the other day, and he'll be part of their game against Serbia tonight away from home. So in that respect, you've seen, there's lots of players that are all around the place. Chris Woods, playing over the ditch not even 2 hours ago, and he's going to make his way all the way back. So I think for Ange, it's a free hit on the weekend against Arsenal. I'm not sure that'll go well for them. Normally, I'd say that there'd be a new manager bounce or a new feel, but I don't think that'll go well for them this weekend. It'll take him some time to bed in. But overall, the other point I wanted to make on what you said before is that Ange is a known quantity now as well. We've seen what he did at Tottenham, that he had a solid season the first time around, finished 5th. Second season, he really wanted to go for it, won a trophy, which was amazing. And it wasn't just the League Cup either, in my opinion. I mean, Newcastle winning the League Cup was big for them, first trophy since the 60s, but Tottenham winning the UEFA Cup, which is a big, big trophy, I mean, in my mind, was huge. Running, it wasn't him, but then Tottenham then going on to run PSG so close as well to the Super Cup, it breeds that success. So he's a known quantity, if that makes sense. They know what they're going to get out of Ange, love it or lump it. And I think the main thing for a club like Forest will be don't get relegated. And funnily enough, where are Forest this year, BB? They're in the Europa League as well. They've been promoted because of Palace's demotion. It's almost the writing's on the wall, right? He's gone, what better opportunity? The Big Six are strengthening. Is there a chance we'll get in Europe again next year? Probably not. Let's bring Ange in for a year, give him a free hit. Don't get us relegated. If he wins the Europa League, my word, he'll be a hero. And then after that, he's got one more year anyway until 2027. So, mate, overall, I like the move. I wish him all the best. He's still got that that Tottenham stain on him for me. I just wish he never went there, to be honest, because he got treated like shit though, baby. Let's be honest.
Mate,
he got treated by a mug. He got treated like a mug by a mug who's now ended up falling on his sword anyway, because I was telling this as I was saying to Brock Ellis earlier. Like, I'm sure Joe Lewis has actually, turned around. He's plugged back in at Tottenham. Probably these guys are billionaires. They're big businessmen who do lots of big business, right? So he's actually come back to Tottenham and probably gone, I'll plug back in and see what's happening here. Hang on, we've just won a big trophy for the first time in forever. We didn't get relegated, yeah, but now we're in the Champions League. And all of a sudden, you've got the whisper starting to come out about how hard Levy was to negotiate with, how bad he was with players, how bad he was with transfers. And then he's just gone, you know what, mate? We're on the verge of something good here. Get out of here. And that's what's happened. So that's what I feel for Ange, mate. And surely you'd have to feel that too, BB. From the Aussie perspective, he's been mugged off by a mug. And, I just feel like a lot of that stain is why we've all hated Tottenham for so long as well. And, I mean, there's a lot of Tottenham fans out there, and I hope there's some Tottenham fans watching this, because at the end of the day, you do want to respect the other clubs that are out there. And in that, I just feel hard done by for Ange. And look, for Tottenham, it bred 25 years of crap. So, what can I say?
I couldn't have said it better. Spot on. And I wasn't reading text messages. I was bringing up Tottenham's games. I'm sorry.
We never even noticed, mate.
Nottingham Forest games just in the corner. We do have to wait about 2 months for Forest versus Tottenham, 14th of December. I would have loved that to be in the next couple of weeks.
Good from you.
Unless I've missed something, but I think, we've got 2 weeks to wait.
That's a game to watch, mate, because you know what? He could have Forest purring by then, because in his first season with Tottenham, he had him purring most of the season, and then he had him purring in Europe and in the games that mattered, but he just was crap at home against Burnley. Burnley went up there, but you know what I'm saying. Crap at home against Brentford, against Brighton, against whoever else came to Tottenham and sliced them open. So
I've got you jogged my memory. I haven't thought about this since last year. So about a year ago, I was interviewing Paddy Pimblett, who's a UFC fighter, superstar,
absolutely
massive Liverpool fan, a scout, Liverpool through and through. You hear his accent coming a mile off. Loves Liverpool. So I started talking to him. We're on a Zoom call about a year ago. I'm sitting right here where I am now, and we started talking about football, right? And he goes, "Oh yeah, I think it was his uncle, or I'm pretty sure it was Paddy Pimblett's uncle." He goes, "Yeah, he used to play with Ange Postecoglou back in the day."
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? And he goes, "Yeah, my uncle played for." Mate, I'll post the link in the description. His uncle played top tier footy, in the 60s or 70s in England. Then moved to Australia, moved to Brisbane. Was one of the sort of pioneers of Brisbane and Queensland football. Played for a time alongside Ange at somewhere. And so me and Paddy Pimblett started talking football and Ange and whatever. And Paddy's like, "Oh, you guys all love him, and what he's done for Tottenham. Like, yeah, he's a superstar down there and everyone loves him." And I'm like, "Boys, I hold you there." I can't go there.
Wait a minute.
I think it must have been. He goes, "Yeah, you'll be wanting him to go on and win, the league or whatever." And I said, I want Ange to go well, but fall just short of everything."
Yes, that's all right. Yeah, give them hope, not the cigars.
Exactly. But now, I'm all in on Ange at Nottingham Forest. I think it's a great move. Got my guy Chris Woods there as well. So, mate, all
yes, the Kiwi.
All good, and sort of from our perspective, we'll be back in a couple of days. Arsenal playing Notts Forest. What is it? 9:30 kickoff here.
9:30 Saturday night,
night.
Beautiful time. Yep.
Looking forward to that one. So I reckon we go ahead and touch on. You see the Socceroos finished playing the All Whites about an hour ago as well. 3-1 Socceroos. I haven't actually had a chance to see any of that game. I was on my way home, but 3-1, 2 good wins for the Socceroos. Although I thought the All Whites looked pretty good in Canberra on Friday night. It was a very late winner from Australia to win that 1-0 down your neck of the woods. But I thought the All Whites looked pretty good. I haven't seen any of this game, so I can't offer any kind of analysis or anything. But talk us through that game and what else you've seen over the last couple of days of international window footy.
Yeah, definitely, BB. Look, a good couple of games for the Socceroos. I wouldn't say it's anything groundbreaking or anything like that, but it's very, very important to note that this was a squad, especially in the Australian sense, of a very young team. I mean, our most capped player was Milos Degenek, at 49 caps. There were 7 debutants in the squad, which is very, very important to blood that youth. I mean, we got the win, we got the result. That's all that matters. If you're in a World Cup group next year, BB, and you're in Dallas or you're in Seattle or you're in Guadalajara, Mexico, Jalisco, where Canelo's from, it doesn't matter, right? Like, as long as you're getting the points and winning matches. So maybe that's a little bit of the attitude that we saw come out of the boys, which is great. Like you, didn't see anything, just only seen the score. I did see Nestor Irankunda's solo goal, our little magician over there for Watford at the moment in England, and playing really well, and scored a couple of banger free kicks recently, which has been outstanding. So the results are what matters at the moment, I feel like, and blooding that youth. I mean, your boys, got to give credit. I mean, the All Whites, qualifying for the World Cup as early as you did, which was back in March, with all due respect to the New Caledonians of the world and a few of the teams you were beating, you can only beat who's ahead of you. You've done that. You're missing Kakache, Liberato Kakache, a former A-League star who's over in Europe now. And you're missing, I can't think of his name at the moment, but one of your other better players, the Serbian heritage fella, he was missing as well, right? So your two best players were effectively out for the All Whites. And then you got Chris Wood, who's travelled a long way as well. Not to say that he's not going to be able to perform at his best, but in a friendly, I can imagine someone like him's maybe putting in 75, 80% bigger fish to fry, and he'll be key for you guys come the March qualifiers next year, and then also the World Cup. So look, great result for the Socceroos. We're away next to the USA and Canada in the next international break in mid-October. Perfect timing to get over there, I think, and play in some of the conditions over there, which is good for us. So I think it's boding pretty well, BB, to be honest. For us at the moment, bloodsome youth. You've got a few of the bigger boys will be back later on. I mean, Matty Ryan's only just moved to Levante in La Liga, and we've got a few of our other boys that were part of the squad this time. Sakati at Parma, which is huge for us, the big centre half there. I mean, the likes of Harry Suter are sort of back down in Championship now and maybe not playing as much, which could be a problem for him. But I think overall we're in a pretty good place. It's good to see like Milanovic as part of the squad, over there from the Scottish Premiership as well. Outside of that, mate, it's been an interesting sort of round of European qualifiers. Not too many major surprises, I guess. One of them was Germany, in some real trouble. Yeah. In their first game. They had a bounce back against Northern Ireland, 3-1. But they had a pretty, I think it was Slovakia or Slovenia, I think, BB. I think it could have been Slovakia.
I get those two mixed up.
Yeah, exactly. They had a bit of a humbling defeat in that game, but they managed to come back. Look, Spain have been absolutely rip roaring, mate. They've scored like 9 goals in 2 games. Mikel Marino is showing why he's the Arsenal's. Our man Marino showing why he was our centre forward again. He scored 4 or 5 goals in the last 2 games. Zuma Mendes played very well apparently as well. So that's all been good, from the Arsenal perspective. For us, Yoka has had a pretty mixed time with Sweden by all accounts. He's played sort of both games, not done very much apparently. Isak came off the bench though, and you can expect him to be part of the Liverpool squad this weekend. I'd say off the bench, but I've got him in a fantasy, BB. I've drafted him now before he goes up. He dropped down 3 points. And then as soon as he signed for Liverpool, he's gone up by 0.2. I'm like, how can you do that when he hasn't even played yet? They're grubs. But anyway, I still got him at temporary.
It's like airlines jacking up the prices when they're
mate, BB, it's the algorithm. They know you're looking at that flight to London, mate. You come back the next day, in you come, baby. But that's about it. Look, France had a comfortable win as well the other day, but they had some massive controversy come out of their match because they've lost Ousmane Dembele and Desiree Doué for sort of 4 and 6 weeks respectively. But you've got to remember with soft tissues, BB, you know this from following sport your whole life. You tear a hammy, they say it's 2 to 3 weeks. You tear a hammy, you can't do anything for 10 days. And then you slowly start running again. And then it's kind of like if you're and again, we have to talk to our great mates like Peter Bedell, the runners. But the idea is that, from my understanding, you do a grade 1 hammy. They say 2 to 3 weeks. 3 weeks is when you're back straight line running and like, okay, I can run again and it's healed. But you match fit again. Like you miss 3 weeks at that level, you're going to drop some fitness. You've got to be able to move left and right. So in the case of these guys, I think Dembele's out probably till November, December, which is massive for them. The first half of the Champions League, Doué as well, massive player as well. And I guess the main point I wanted to touch is because this is an instance where what we're seeing is now Luis Enrique and PSG effectively flipping it at Deschamps and the French side and saying, what's this all about? Like, we gave you medical evidence not to put too much load on them, of which Deschamps' report was effectively, we checked them, they're fine, and we managed them based on the load that we thought that they could play. As it turns out, Dembele comes on at halftime, limps off with a hammy after 38 minutes on the pitch, and there's a huge issue there. So it's going to be interesting as well how that continues to sort of carry on and go on. And outside of that, BB, the other massive news, I thought it was massive news, which has been swept under the last excuse me is Man City basically settling their case with the Premier League over all the sponsorship rules, where they basically took a charge up and took a case up against the Premier League to say that we've are not circumventing your rules regarding third-party sponsorships. We are playing within the rules. And now they've come to a settlement outside of court, which is effectively the Premier League admitting they're wrong, taking the settlement. And now what they're saying is this opens the door for Man City to sign like $1 billion sponsorship deal with Etihad and not have a problem. So say what you want about it. I don't know. Some people, the conspiracy theorists, BB, are out there saying that this actually opens the door now for the 115 charges to either get dropped or to get, put to the side or something to happen there. And that's the quid pro quo. So interesting news, mate. International Week always brings up all sorts of wacky stories. And for the most part, it's us praying that our players, don't get injured. We saw Saliba go down at the Liverpool time, and the reports are now 3 to 4 weeks, which means he could miss Forest, could miss Bilbao, could miss Man City. So not great for us. I've drafted Mosquera into my fantasy, mate. He's cheap and he's solid. So hopefully that's a summary enough, mate. Anything you want to touch on there with all those points, mate? International break, Man City, all the wonderful things.
Mate, you've covered that pretty well. I'll say I won't try and go through all the scores of all the international games, especially as we've still got games overnight. But a couple of goals, couple of performances, couple of highlights for me over the last couple of days. Florian Wirtz, did you see his free kick? I think Szoboszlai's going to have a bit of competition. He reckons Trent's gone now. He's got the free kick duties, but I think after Wirtz scored that absolute belter this morning, I think that was a cracker. Kevin De Bruyne scored twice for Belgium and becomes Belgium's all-time leading goal scorer. Goes past Eden Hazard.
Good from you.
Mate, what Italy versus Israel. And I can't even remember. I think it was 5-4 in the way it ended up. Just ridiculous. Like what is going on in Italian football? I think they seem to just throw up just all sorts of, like, they'll go and win a World Cup, win a Euro, whatever it is, and then in the intervening sort of 20 years, the whole thing crumbles and comes back, and there's match fixing sagas and all the rest of it, and teams getting relegated to Serie B and all this kind of stuff. So it's a brilliant drama. The other one, what else did I have to mention? Luka Modric, my man, scoring again. He turned 40 as well. Just the old fella's doing it for everybody. I think that's all I've got time for today. I reckon we're getting the wrap up from Zoom too. So let's wrap it up here. But the news of the day: Ange Postecoglou back in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest, they're playing Arsenal this weekend. We'll be there to wrap it all up. Steve Peios, I'll let you get going, mate. We'll speak in a few days.
Pleasure to talk to you, BB, mate. Love your knowledge. You're all over it. Fascinating times. Look forward to the weekend of Premier League action, and we'll get up with the next episode. But yeah, plenty of news this week, and I hope our viewers enjoy it. We'll see you very soon.
See you guys.